To his followers, he is perceived as a divine figure on earth, representing Jesus Christ himself. They believe he embodies perfection, untouched by sin, and are convinced that it is through him they have food on their tables, education, health, and the promise of salvation. They think he will be the one to open heaven's doors for them. However, some former members of his church view him differently. They see him as a manifestation of evil, a predator who caused them immense pain through years of abuse.
You are a sexual predator.
Nason Joaquin Garcia, who proclaimed himself the apostle of Jesus Christ in 2014, follows in the footsteps of his deceased father, Samuel, and grandfather, Aaron. He is the third-generation leader of La Luz del Mundo, or the Light of the World, a Christian-based church founded in Mexico in 1926. Nason was arrested in Los Angeles, California, in June 2019 on charges of sexual abuse involving minors, an event that shook the foundations of La Luz del Mundo and brought to light new cases of misconduct involving several high-ranking members of the church. Since then, thousands of members have abandoned the church, while others remain blind to the deceptions they have lived through for years. La Luz del Mundo unfolds as the story of a church entangled in misconducts involving minors, mysterious murders, harassment against its members, and money laundering. Many times, it operates akin to a criminal enterprise. Illicit investigations confirmed through confidential sources that the Light of the World is under the scrutiny of U.S. federal authorities for its connection to the Jalisco New Generation cartel, led by Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, also known as El Mencho. Both organizations are based in Guadalajara, and their ties may be tighter than imaginable. In this episode of Illicit Investigations, we unveil the exploitative practices within the Light of the World, one of the most controversial churches in North America in recent years. We reveal the hidden truths about Nason Joaquin Garcia, his family's political connections in Mexico and abroad, and discuss federal investigations in the U.S. linking the church to a powerful Mexican drug cartel. Join us as we uncover unpublished details about La Luz del Mundo, a tale that is sure to be thrilling. Every morning, the followers of the Light of the World rise early for the 6 a.m. religious service. They start their day with a sense of blessing believed to be from Nason Joaquin Garcia, who is currently in a California jail, which they feel fills them with faith and love. However, many of these members may not fully realize that they have been misled for years. Nason is not a saint, nor is he the apostle of Jesus Christ on earth, as some have been led to believe. Nason is a convicted criminal. In June 2022, he entered a guilty plea to 3 counts of sexual assault involving minors and is now leading his church from behind bars, serving a 16-year sentence. This conviction followed allegations by 5 former church members who testified being abused by him. One of them was his own niece. Investigators discovered on his iPhone, iPad, and laptop hundreds of photos and videos evidencing his crimes. For many former members, this 16-year sentence seemed lenient, but in October 2023, a federal grand jury in Los Angeles indicted him on 2 counts of producing and distributing child sexual abuse tapes involving a 16-year-old victim. Consequently, Nason will be transferred from state to federal prison and is expected to remain in jail for many additional years. Since the 1990s, Samuel, the previous apostle and Nason's father, who died in 2014, also faced similar allegations. For decades, it has been an open secret within La Luz del Mundo Church that the apostles have surrounded themselves with young men and women who have been subjected to acts of misconduct. These crimes have been facilitated by female members close to the apostle who have served as groomers. And numerous times, it was the parents who allowed their children to lose their virginity to the apostle, considering it the utmost blessing of their lives. It is a disturbing narrative that, to the outside world, represents nothing more than heinous acts of abuse of power by a religious organization that manipulates fear and faith to control its followers. Yet, among the devout members of the church, these allegations are seen as slander intended to destroy their institution. Since Nason's arrest in June 2019, Numerous cases have come to light involving church pastors from Mexico and the U.S. who are facing accusations of similar misconduct.
There was a time when I barely knew how to turn on a computer. Now, I'm a cybersecurity specialist.
ECP. The Light of the World Church is known for its impressive temples. Their main one is located in Guadalajara, Jalisco, in a neighborhood called Hermosa Provincia, which was built and is owned by the church. Across Mexico, they have constructed enormous temples with varied styles, even replicating the iconic Taj Mahal of India. It claims to have 5 million members distributed across 5 continents. However, this figure has not been independently verified, and former members suggest the actual number is significantly lower. But in the past 2 decades, the church has experienced substantial growth in the U.S., acquiring land and erecting several temples in states such as California, Texas, Utah, Arizona, and Florida. In Georgia, they purchased 9 plots of land in the town of Flowery Branch for $10.5 million with plans to build a Light of the World city. The project, however, never happened. But how has the church managed to acquire this land, build these temples, and expand so rapidly? The answer lies partly in their doctrine, which prescribes ownership over the time and money of its members. During religious services, members are encouraged to give tithes and special offerings. The annual calendar is punctuated by special events, such as the birthdays of the Apostle Nassan and his wife Alma, and the Holy Supper, which is the most significant celebration where members convene in Guadalajara from around the world. For each of these events, members are expected to contribute special offerings. Depending on their location and income, U.S. members might donate anywhere from $100 to $7,000 as a gift for Nassan's birthday. Beyond monetary contributions, members are also expected to participate in church activities during their free time, like food sales, where they prepare and sell traditional Mexican dishes, with proceeds going to the church. The construction and upkeep of the temples and pastors' residences are carried out through the volunteer labor of the members. The church's doctrine rejects worldly pleasures. Members are advised against spending money on recreational activities such as movies, travel, or shopping, as they are taught to dedicate their time and money to the apostol. They don't even follow celebrations like Christmas, prioritizing Nassan's birthday over the birth of Jesus Christ. Instead of exchanging Christmas gifts, offerings are given to him. The majority of the Light of the World members are humble, hardworking, and unsuspecting individuals who, according to experts and former members, have been subjected to indoctrination. The Joaquin family, regarded as the royal family, leads a life of unimaginable luxury, private jets, yachts, and global excursions, all financed by the contributions of hundreds of thousands of church members seeking salvation. They own properties worldwide, including a ranch near San Antonio, Texas, with a zoo valued at $4.1 million. Many properties are registered under frontmen, which is why U.S. prosecutors have found it challenging to locate all of the family's assets. Great part of the money collected by the church in the U.S. is transported to Mexico in cash by members who deliver the money directly to the headquarters in Guadalajara. The financial operations of the church are under investigation by the IRS, FBI, and HSI. It is evident that a substantial portion of the church's funds is managed in cash, eluding the surveillance of both U.S. and Mexican authorities. Illicit investigations confirmed that La Luz del Mundo is being probed for money laundering and alleged connections with the Jalisco New Generation cartel, which dominates the state of Jalisco, where this church enjoys immunity and protection. The Light of the World has operated similar to a criminal organization. It does not tolerate dissents and intimidates members who attempt to leave. Xochitl Martin, a former member who suffered abuse by Nassan, has bravely left the church and publicly denounced its pain. As a result, she has faced persecution and lived in fear due to threats from the organization. The church allegedly employs a cyber battalion known as Batallón Cibernético, in which hundreds of anonymous social media accounts are used to harass former members and detractors through the internet. This group supposedly defames, attacks, and even issues death threats to those who have defected. including journalists reporting on the church's horror activities. On the ground, the church has a security group called Jazer, which is tasked with safeguarding the Joaquin family. This group consists of agents skilled in security and surveillance, who also reportedly investigate, intimidate, and threaten former members not just in Mexico, but in the United States as well. Consequently, some ex-members experience paranoia and panic attacks. A Reddit group called XLLDM serves as a sanctuary for former members to anonymously share their experiences and find solace. The indoctrination within this church is so pervasive that those who leave often find themselves hated by their own families, branded as traitors. In Mexico, there are thousands who continue to attend church out of fear, despite losing faith in Nason Joaquin Garcia. There have been cases where members who wished to leave faced threats, and some have died under mysterious circumstances. Sibia Orozco, who resided in the Hermosa Provincia neighborhood of Guadalajara, was reportedly gunned down by hitmen in her own home in front of her family. She was considering leaving the church and exposing her secret relationship with Silem Garcia Peña, a church leader with whom she had a baby. Her death remains unsolved by the Jalisco and political influence, with 3 members in the Mexican Federal Congress and numerous public officials and local congressmen. Internationally, in countries like El Salvador, where the church has a substantial following, Nason Joaquin was welcomed by President Nayib Bukele in 2015, suggesting a political alliance, at a time when he was the mayor of San Salvador. But the church also maintains clandestine alliances. U.S. federal agencies are investigating the connections between La Luz del Mundo and the Jalisco New Generation cartel. Allegedly, the church has collaborated with this cartel, led by Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, known as El Mencho, in laundering money through real estate ventures across Mexico and disguising cartel funds as religious donations. U.S. government sources suggest that a link between the church and the cartel may be Adoniram Joaquin Aboganem, Nason's nephew, who reportedly leads a lavish lifestyle in Guadalajara. HSI agents in New York, San Diego, and Chicago are unraveling this intricate web, where the lines between faith and illicit drug trade blur, potentially leading to further arrests and prosecutions in the United States of members of the Church of the Light of the World and the Joaquin family. This is Illicit Investigations. Subscribe now.